All right. Let everybody load in while we get prepped here before I start dropping news and getting things going. So, got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams to build. Not too bad. What's up, guys? Morning. Just going to let everybody jump in before I start breaking any news. No Decorian Moore-esque news this week, I don't think, until I get looking through here. But just getting lined up. Obviously, this is first team. We're going to start building. So, ended up, originally, I was going to have a mix of Marcel Reed, Jeff Sims. I still can't believe I'm going to play Jeff Sims. I know it's going to end up haunting me. I know it. I know it should be Fafita in that spot, but it's not. I really do feel that way, but I got to play Jeff Sims. He's a dual threat. Marcel Reed, Jeff Sims, Brendan Sorsby. I'm personally extremely high on Little Carr, CJ Carr today. So I ended up mixing him in. And the late breaking stuff last night was, I had heard that Nussmeier had a re-aggravation of that oblique. Made sense to sit him down facing Arkansas. Let me see if Van Buren played Arkansas last year. He definitely played some bad defenses. But Van Buren playing, woo doggy. That got me excited. So I want Charizard Brown to be something. I want Shamar Brown to be something. I just don't know that he. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna show you guys this. So here's Van Buren last year. He did face Arkansas in a 58-25 loss for that awful Mississippi State team. He threw for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns and then ran for another touchdown. It has more rushing upside than he shows here because he got killed on sacks. He lost a ton of yardage on sacks last year. So that would be the genesis of why I am interested in Van Buren. I think he has a Joe Burrow level-esque of rushing capability, we'll say, from Mr. Van Buren. I'm a big Van Buren fan. I will be investing heavily over the off season now that he's in Bowman Chrome U. So I'm in there. I've been buying some up on the side for pretty cheap anyway. So that was kind of the main big news for me. The other big news that came out this morning is Evan Pryor being out with the ankle issue. That puts Tyree Walker into a bell cow role. The 13 next to his name is not going to help his ownership. It's going to keep him lower owned. I do think he can get up in this 18 to 20 carry range. Can he find 100 yards is the question. Defense he's facing is not crazy good because Arizona's secondary has been fairly decent. They've been kind of had on the ground. Highshaw had 18 attempts. Connors had 20 attempts. Martin had 26. So I think Walker's in play. I do like Sorsby. I did take my ownership of Sorsby down because there is like 10 to 15 mile an hour winds there. And I ended up taking out a little bit of Sorsby ownership and replacing it with Van Buren because Sorsby's so expensive. But I will have Sorsby, obviously, based on this lineup here. So I want to play him stacked because Cyrus Allen's the clear number one. Caleb Goody is out for Cincinnati today. I think slot wide receivers have done fairly well with against Arizona. So that gives me some positive vibes, we'll say, on the passing attack here for Cincinnati, where slot wide receivers can get to him, and he plays over 90% of his snaps in the slot. So I like that. Nico Iamaleava is out today as well. That's interesting. Oh boy, Michael. I do like that actually. There is some viable running backs in this spot. Quarterback is fairly priced up. We do lack the rushing options. Everybody's kind of saying Marcel Reed is more of a floor play than a ceiling play. I do think ceiling is in there. I'm personally going to fade Ruben Owens, which I think is going to get a good amount of ownership. Shamar Brown got very good usage in the pass game last week, so I do like that. Um, so that would be why I'm kind of there. Eli Raritan, he's going to be on the field. I think you take 4 dart shots, right? So my CJ Carr teams are going to be double dart throws for the most part, because if Carr's going to get there, he's going to need 2 other guys to come with him, I think. And I do like the fact that I'm pretty certain, let me double check my stats on that, because I'm fading Jeremiah Love today, and I think it's ridiculous, but his price is prohibitive, and it's one of the better run defenses in the country. So I'm gonna fade in favor of CJ Carr in this spot. I will say Justin Marshall or Jordan Marshall. Golly, Justin Marshall. That's the Colorado State kid. Colorado State's quit, by the way. You want to play them? Whoo, doggy. Go play New Mexico against the spread against Colorado State. Jordan Marshall is going to be in every team, so it's just not a question. I do love Moulton. Moulton and Marshall is my favorite pairing. I love Moulton and Marshall as a pairing. On FanDuel, that's my number one pairing. I got him everywhere. As much as I could get, as much as I could fit him in, I fit in Moulton and Marshall. I don't mind Dickey. I think he's a good pivot off of Williams. I think Williams value-wise is insane. He's hard to get away from. If I was going to play those 4 backs, I would either want one of the Penn State backs. So I have no issues playing Dickey or Williams. I would prefer one of the Penn State kids against Michigan State, because Michigan State, I'm going to try to get as much Katron Allen and or Nick Singleton in teams as possible. So from a viability standpoint, I would prefer to either go from Dickey down to where's he at? Katron Allen. I think volumes on Allen's side, big play upside is on Singleton's side. I think a lot of ownership does go towards Singleton this week because he's coming off of that big game last week. I'm going to lean towards Allen. I kind of prefer that. I think that the volume alone gets me there, and I think something similar to this Iowa line is in play. I think 100 yards on the ground and at least a touchdown is what we're going to see. So I think 20 points out of Allen makes a lot of sense. I just would say that Marshall's a smash. I mean, just an absolute smash after what King Miller was able to do last week to that same Northwestern defense with 127-1 on the ground. So heavily invested there. And then I'm really leaning into Malachi Toney. I like Mario Craver. I personally think he's going to score today. He hasn't scored since week 3. So I really do expect Craver to pop here in this one. He's been rather quiet for a little while. So I think something in that 25-point range is well within the possibility. South Carolina's been fairly decent against the pass, which you would say would limit the upside, given that teams can run on them. But slot wide receivers have done pretty well against this South Carolina defense, all with 70+ over the last few weeks. So I think Craver can top the 100-yard mark here. Let me see if there's any injury news, and then I'm going to check what the stochastic tweet was. Or I am interested in the Miami pass game. I don't mind CJ Daniels. I also don't mind Keelan Marion still because Marion's going to play in the three wide sets. Trader obviously is fully gone. Uh, Tony Tony's going to need to be the guy though, if we really want to get there. I like that. Yeah, yeah. I think Michael. I do like that. I think Williams is going to be heavy chalk, and I don't disagree with it whatsoever. Although he was chalk that failed last week. So does it remain chalk is the question. You know what I mean? I don't think James Franklin's going to end up being at Virginia Tech. Pete Thamel. Don't think so. All right. Injury news. Evan Pryor out. We talked about that. Washington is going to be in a world of hurt. No Denzel Boston and no center or right tackle. That's an issue for that late game. Uh, man, that's a weird one. There you go. What games do you play at the casino, David? I'm actually curious in that. I'm a big casino guy. I enjoy it when we go. We go to Vegas every year. I like Harlem Berry, Michael. I think he's a fun pivot too. I really do. He's starting to take over that offense, and in that spot it's a very good spot for him. I personally, in the long run, hope that Eli Drinkwitz comes to LSU, and we'll see Ahmad Hardy be the running back there. But Harlem Berry's a talented kid. He's starting to take over for Caden Durham. I would really like to see him get 20 plus in this spot. David, by the way, on FanDuel, I really do like Van Buren there at 8K. I had all my teams built last night when that news popped, and I added, oh, see, I like playing craps, but it doesn't like me, David. That's my problem. I do love some craps. It's a deal though. So Jonah Coleman's expected to be available tonight. Oh, okay, okay. See, I like Adam Muhammad in that late slate. Yeah, they're saying he's going to start at tailback for Washington. I don't think Coleman plays much. Yeah, yeah, you got to have him. I think Jordan Marshall. All right, let's look at we'll pull FanDuel because I'll show you what kind of like I am super interested in here, just so David can get on the road here. Let me pull that down. Let's go LSU. Got to have LSU. We're going to play Van Buren. I think he's got sneaky rushing upside. So I will tell you that from a favorite pairing standpoint, I really like that as a start. And then I wouldn't pair, I'm not pairing Van Buren with anybody. If I'm going to play, like if I was playing one team, I probably want Tony. Um, I probably want Trell Harris because I think that game. And honestly, I think one of the more fun. I like the Wingo, so I don't mind Bojack's. Let me see. Let's play with that. Let's play with that. All right. So let's just say we go from there. Let's say we go from there because I do like Nico being out is weird because I don't. I mean, it's just Ohio State's going to name their number. Let's go Wingo. I do like the Wingo arch stuff. I really do. It's a deal. Oh, buddy, no, this is your team. I think I might have this team already. I've already got it. All right. Well, I mean, what? So if you can play that, no problem about that. I like this. Van Buren, Marshall, Moulton, Smith, Wingo, Harris. I don't even know if I have this team, but I am gonna play this one way or another. I don't even know if I have it, but Elijah Surratt is not going to play for Indiana today. That will mean that we are interested. I do like Jalen Moss if you're going to stack. If you're going to stack him, I think Becker can be. I think yeah. I think pairing him with Sims, Michael, is a good plan. I will have one of those. I like Moss the most out of the bunch. Yeah, I think you can play Becker. I just worry about Becker. And then how much are they really going to have to throw the football here? I don't know. They got pushed last week. Becker makes me nervous. I know he had the 7 for 118. I don't think it's a bad play, is what I would say. I don't think it's a bad play. I just think Duke is so bad on the back end that I really like that team. We're playing that. I mean, that's a really good team. Really strong team. I like Kamari Moulton a ton. I prefer Barcade to Lemon because I don't know how much the weather is weird for this USC game. There's a ton of rain in LA. There's a flood watch in effect. The winds are 10 to 15 miles an hour, gusts around 25. It could really hinder that game. That game could get weird. I do like that game, but I am slightly worried about the weather. Slightly. I think lemon is a great play most of the time. So I have a very hard time not doing it. Um, so that is I will tell you that's a struggle for me personally. Let me see here. I'm gonna get this team in because I don't have it yet. Oh, it's because I put Wayshawn Parker in that team originally. Moulton. Yep. Damn. Yeah, I like Wayshawn Parker a good bit too. You need a 6,900 wide receiver on the duel. Man, on this for this team, I'm so tempted to tell you Emmett Mosley or Malachi Fields, but I don't like the weather here either. I think Becker's smart. Man, double stacking Arch is like ultimate boom bust. From a safety perspective, I think Becker's probably the safest. I've been leaning towards Fields, but I have a lot of car teams. Yeah. I mean, if you want to live life on a complete edge, go Emmett Mosley, but otherwise I would play Becker. I think Becker's the safest because you know he's gonna be on the field. He had 9 targets last week. It's kind of hard not to. And if he just finds the end zone, you feel pretty good. I think it's fair. I mean, if you really, really want to live life on the edge, you can double stack Arch, but that is living life to the fullest, let me tell you. I think Becker's fair. All right, good luck, David. Let me know how you do on the table games because I need some more strats here on the craps. I need something new. They kicked my tail, kicked my teeth in too much. All right. So where am I going to go? Double check. I never hate Noah Thomas. He's always live for a tud. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Texas Tech, we got any news? Bayard Morton, Jacob Rodriguez, and Lee Hunter are all good to go. I think Morton's probably only going to play about a half. I'm not interested in Bayard Morton. Yeah. Yeah, I like Barcade a good bit. I like, yeah, the weather's, I'm worried about the rain. The rain does concern me there in that spot. That's why I'm so heavy on Moulton in the, on FanDuel because it's not really going to hurt him. He's probably going to get 20 touches in that spot. Let's see here. Any further information? Yeah. They're talking about I by the way, if you want to play say and doubles, go right ahead. I'm just so jaded from Carnell Tate last week that I'm on a void. Just FYI. Yeah, Rod. I think it's gonna be a great game. I like Texas in this game. Just as an aside, but I do think it's there. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that fully, Rod. Let's see. They are like, where is so the stochastic Sims are in on Jeff Sims, Jordan Marshall, Jacoby Williams. It likes Makai Lemon, which is kind of funny. Omari Kelly, I think he's a fine play at 3,300 as a punt. Jamari Taylor, woof. Van Buren, who I'm now in on, and Faison. I like Jordan Faison today as a safe piece in lineups. Don't disagree with that. I don't hate Nick Harbor as a punt play. Uh, my favorite punts right now are Malachi Fields at 3,700 and Noah Rogers at 3,300. And in Jeff Sims teams, I don't mind getting to Jalen Moss personally. Now Jeff Sims and throwing the football obligatory. My name is Jeff. Uh, do I really want to trust Jeff Sims throwing the football? Not particularly. I've got him there for a running capability. But yeah, it's expecting a ton of ownership on Jeff Sims. I do not like the Jamari Taylor play. Why in the world would people be paying for Jamari Taylor over Katron Allen? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I don't agree with that whatsoever. All right. So if we're finishing this team out, what would it be if I have a 5,200 flex? See, yeah, that's where I don't think I want to end up. Oh, if it was 100, oh no, I can't do that anyway. With Sorsby, 5,200 flex, I do not like anybody there because I would be playing him. I'd have to play Harlem Berry in that spot. I'm minimally okay with that, not particularly love with it. Let's see here. I don't particularly want to play. I think people are going to go to Singleton, and I probably prefer Williams. I really do like Katron by comparison. I like Moulton. I do not like any of the top end. I'll be honest. Well, I mean, I don't mind Dickey. Like if you had the money, go right ahead. But other than that, I'm going all the way down, and I'd want Katron and Moulton. I prefer Katron even to the top end. I like Trell Harris a ton. I'm not big on Nate Shepard. So UVA's been okay against the ground game, and I worry about Anderson Castle getting too much red zone work. He's played well, and I did work out pretty good on me for pivoting off of Nate Shepard last week. UVA is good enough against the run that I don't love it particularly. I would rather pay for like Marshall's a lock, and then Katron Allen, Moulton. I don't know that Moulton's any different of a play or Katron's any different of a play than Shepard or Jamari Taylor or King. Like I don't like any of them up there. I'd rather just pay down. Des Reed, you want to take full on like just I'm willing to punt. I do have a little Des Reed exposures. I love Malachi Fields, but I liked him at UVA a ton. I still think 100 yards and 2 touchdowns is a game coming for Malachi Fields eventually. Des Reed, I do like in this spot because he can kill you. He can just dominate a slate out of nowhere. So in your, I can't help it. I don't even know where it comes from. I just saw somebody say it, and now I can't get it out of my head. The Desmond Reed thing, though, in your car stacks, it's hard not to want to play Reed to bring it back. And I would prefer that. I like Dior Hubbard more than Ruben Owens. I said it. I'm out on Ruben Owens for the most part. I love Desmond Reed for the leverage. Harlem Berry over Moulton. I don't hate that as a pivot. I don't hate that. Yeah, I like Moulton a ton from a volume standpoint, but I do like Harlem Berry enough. I think the interesting one is Singleton on DK. It's Singleton, Williams, Berry, and Walker. That range, somebody's going to win you the day, and somebody's going to lose you the day. Xavier Robinson's interesting down here. Shamar Brown's interesting because of the pass game usage last week. He was the one getting most of the work there, so that's where it gets really interesting in that spot. I might play Malachi Fields on this team, but I have enough Carr coming up. Like where I have Carr. I have 2 cars coming up, and I'm probably gonna end up with Faison if I was to guess. I, I know I'm gonna end up with some Pauling somewhere. Let's go Faison and Fields. I like that. In that spot, let's go Faison. I'm gonna go 1 there. Maybe I'll throw Fields in this one. That way I have a little bit of exposure. Let's see what happens if we go Fields. So let's go Fields there. I don't love not having a 6,900 guy there because then I can't go Katron Allen still. I can't go Katron Allen because if I go Katron Allen, then I've got 4K at flex. And I don't particularly want to be at that 4K range at flex because I don't love it. I don't want to play. I'd have to play like Lottie Brooks or Cam Ross in that spot, and I'd rather have Trell Harris in that spot. So I like Noah Rogers for NC State as the get weird punt play, but I prefer Fields, obviously. Let's see here. If I go 69, then I've got 44. Well, that would work. You could technically go Xavier Robinson and Malachi Tony in this spot. That is one option. If you did that, you could go 5K, then you'd have 6,300 for a flex. I don't love that. You'd have to end up double stacking. I think you end up double stacking personally with Concepcion. So now you have a Reed double if you go 5K with my guy there. You could go Desmond Reed, and that would leave you with 55, which you're not going to use Owens. So I don't love that because I can't use Walker here. You could go 48.65, which is 100 off of Moulton, which sucks because if you could go Singleton and Moulton, it would be fine. I'd be open to it. Man, all right. Let's see here. This is where this gets interesting on this play. So Goody's out. Does that increase Joe Royer? Maybe. Caldwell's going to get more snaps because he's been splitting snaps with Noah Jennings. Noah Jennings probably becomes a viable punt at 3K in this spot. You could come off of Allen. That's possible because then that would give you the extra money to get up to Singleton with Tony. I'm going to have way too much Malachi Tony exposure probably, but they have absolutely, like, NC State has gotten destroyed. Absolutely destroyed by slots. Like slot wide receivers have killed them with like multiple not great ones going for over 100. So I have way too much Malachi Tony exposure. So like Tony and Xavier Robinson's fine, but I could come off of Fields, but then I end up on a double, like a double stack of Sorsby, which is not going to happen. And Cyrus Allen's the only one I really want to play on that offense. Do you want to come off of that? We'll have to think about that. We'll come back to that. This is my top team anyway. I like Reed Sims is my favorite pairing with Craver, Marshall. It gets extremely difficult trying to jam. All right, let's just play this straight up. Then let's play Jacoby Williams because I like that a good bit. Can I do Tony? And then that would leave me with 53, which gets to be like Hudson. 71 gives me 3K. I don't love that. 66, no. 58, don't hate, but that's 43, and I don't want to be there. I'm thinking Singleton, but I don't like that because I could go Nick Singleton here. Nick Singleton and like Chris Hudson, I like to an extent today. The volume's certainly there. You could go Shimon Mateer, actually. It's not the worst play in the world. Let me see. What's their numbers against tight ends? Do I really want to pair Jeff Sims in that spot? Who in the world wants to pair Jeff Sims up? You know what I mean? Who's crazy enough to do such a thing? Where's their numbers against tight ends? All right, 4 more. All right, West Virginia gives up about 10 fantasy points to tight ends. All right. So I don't know how much I want that. But do I really want to go balanced? Kind of want to punt. Yeah, you're doing the Mateer, Daryl. I like that. I know. That makes a ton of sense. Because you can go Mateer in that spot. I mean, look at that number next to him. He's so consistent. But then, like, can he win me a tournament is the question. Or is his 18 or 15 enough? Like, I don't think he's going for 100 in this spot. Like Faison, I think, can go for 100 on massive target numbers. And if he scores, he's really getting out there. And that's at 400 less. So then that begs the question, if I do Faison, let's just say we do Faison, that gets me, Tyree Walker as an option. And then he has 20-point upside. Harlem Berry, it gets me access to, who has upside. Singleton, he has upside, but man, it's a scary one to say. I just don't know that I'd want to go there. I think I would end up on Tyree Walker here. I think Tyree Walker, Jordan Faison, and Malachi Tony is the best play in that spot. But do I want to play that in this tournament, or do I want to play that in the single entry? I think single entry, this makes a ton of sense because you get target volume, target volume, target volume. Those are the 3 wide receivers I like a ton. I think I'd rather go Trell Harris here at 4,200 in this one. Gets me 600, gets you to 59. 59 at flex. All right, hang on. We're gonna lock that one into this tournament here. So in the single entry. What's up, Warren? So I don't like Reuben Owens, and it's mainly based on usage. I personally think that Owens numbers were fake last week. So that scares me. I think everybody in the field, I feel like, is going to buy into this 13 for 102 and 2. But those 2 touchdowns came in the fourth quarter, and it scares me. So we saw E.J. Smith score early in that game. We saw Morrow score early in that game. So both of those things scare me and make me think that it's possible we end up seeing some weird stuff. I think you can play. I think it's viable to play Allen and Singleton in a lineup. If you're thinking you can play Dickey and Jackson in a lineup, I think it's viable. Personally, I'd want to play one of each one Texas Tech, one. Um, I just personally would want to play one Texas Tech, one of the Penn State guys. I want to play one of each. That's kind of where I'm leaning, but I do understand the viability of Allen and Singleton together in a lineup. As long as you have Jordan Marshall, that's where your lineup needs to start. If Jordan Marshall fails today, then I lost all my money. That's just where we're at in this play. I guarantee it. But that's where I just it fade at your own risk is what I would say on the Marshall aspect. All right, we're playing this. We're locking that one in 100%. Late slate, by the way, just load up on UNLV. That's way too much fun to do. So that's one single entry in. That's weird. I don't hate Harlem Berry. Like, I'm perfectly happy playing Harlem Berry. I'm just not getting a super amount there. Just because I just that offense, man. I mean, I will play it. I think he's a great pivot off of Williams, no doubt about it. I think he's a great pivot off of Williams in that spot. All right, I do want Katron in this spot. I want Faison in this spot. I think Raritan makes a ton of sense. I do think that. I think I'm going to end up needing to be on some Raritan in one of these. Yeah, Pitt allows the most fantasy points of any team in the country. Yeah, you're not wrong. Maybe this is the spot I do it too. Single entry, and then play Eli Raritan at 3,800. I think, yeah, he could go for 100. All right, I'm gonna play Eli. Why not? Let's play Eli Raritan here. Let's play Eli Raritan. Why not? Let's have some fun. All right, we're gonna play that. I wonder if I play Faison with Raritan in this spot. See, I understand it, but his floor is very similar to right. Yeah. Yeah, Warren. I like the Raritan call. And the last two decent tight ends to play against Pitt, um both went for over 100. I just think Malachi Tony's just such a smash play. I think Craver's a smash play at 5,100. That leaves you at 5,900 at flex. Oh, oh, oh. Dude, you could go Craver and Des Reed. Dude. All right, I'm doing it. Screw it. I'm doing it. I don't see how I don't. I love Craver today. Yeah, like that is Smash City for me. I need to put 7,300 in my flex. I put Katron in my flex just in case things get weird. I'm going this. I like that, Rod. I like that. Does underdog? I can't play it here. So does that require you to take a tight end for college, or are you just full on draft spots? I like this. This is fun. It's a good pivot off of Malachi Fields too to get to Raritan. Raritan and Fields would be a kind of a fun one. Maybe I'll play you know what? We're gonna play a Faison Raritan team instead of Fields. Let's do that because I played Fields in that first team, or I haven't. Well, I haven't technically played Fields in that first team, but I do like a Faison Raritan stack. All right, we're gonna play. We're gonna play this in this single entry with Van Buren. I don't think you need to stack Van Buren. I think it's pretty obvious why not, because God knows who's going to. Tight ends are a required position. Good gracious, that's tough in college to do a tight end requirement. That is very tough. All right, let's go back to this sucker because I don't know what to do there. All right, we're gonna go with that. We got Katron Allen in them. I like that a good bit. I like the Des Reed bring back too to push them along. It's kind of a fun way to play. All right. Am I not missing? Let me double check FanDuel and make sure that Des Reed, because I haven't even looked for him, is not some stupid price. All right, he's 8,700. That's fine. Okay. I'm not worried about that then. I wouldn't play him either way. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's great leverage, Rod. That's great leverage. Warren, if I'm pairing Jeff Sims, which I do not recommend, I would pair him probably with Moss, mainly because I don't trust Jeff Sims. And I think you're paying too much for not enough upside for Shimon Mateer. We were just talking about that earlier. Mateer makes me nervous. I think he can get you up to that 15 to 20 range. Maybe he can win you a tournament. Maybe. Um, I'm open to it, but I haven't quite gotten there yet to where I've decided I'm willing to do it. I really think Nick Singleton and uh, Malachi Tony's the play here in this spot. Or no, it's Malachi Tony and it would be Tony and because Singleton would get you to 65, which sucks. So it's Tony and Xavier Robinson is where I'm at right now. I don't love that. I'm tempted to come off a Craver, go up to Concepcion just to have a Concepcion team because Concepcion's actually been playing very well, kind of 19, 20 points every week. I think it's a Craver week, but I have so much Craver. Like, do I want to go Concepcion? And then that kind of makes it so that you can play. You can't play Tyree Walker. You could play 5K, 5,200. So, like, maybe in this sense, well, I wouldn't play Mateer if I'm not playing the other Jeff Sims. You could play Harlem Berry. So, like, in this spot, you could play Harlem Berry and Jacoby Williams. But the question is, at that point, why not just play Craver and Williams? Can Marshall Reed take two guys to the promised land? Can he pull two wide receivers with him? So let's look at this Utah State game. I'm minimally worried about the win with Sorsby. It got me off of Fafita, but the genesis of the Sorsby play, and that's why I also put some Van Buren in for Sorsby. The genesis of that play is that running quarterbacks have really beat up on Arizona. So Connor Wiegman had 100 yards rushing. Bear Bachmeyer had 100 yards rushing. And Jalen Daniels had 14 yards or 74 yards rushing. So it's all on the ground. Now that would say that so I think Tradez is a fine play. If I was going to stack anybody with um, Van Buren, it would be Tradez. I mean, it does make a lot of sense, buddy. You're not wrong. All right, you're kind of talking me into Tradez now. I agree with you. I do agree with you. It's just one of those things. If I landed in that range, then yeah, I think I could see playing the Van Buren side of that. Do I want to play Tradez with Van Buren? Tradez had two really big drops last week against Alabama. I don't know. I know. Well, Daryl, this is why we do the show. This is a collaborative effort. By the way, I am rooting so heavily for Duke to win the ACC because I want Duke to win the ACC and somehow not be one of the 5 highest conference champions. So then USF and JMU get in as the 2 higher rated conference champions, and Duke somehow doesn't. That would be hilarious because then Miami would be an at large. Craver was downgraded. What do you mean? All right, well, let's check. Let me check my guys here. Injury news. Nah, he's been a game time decision. He was probable. He's been a game time decision all along. He got upgraded from questionable to probable, and then now he's a game time decision. Oh, that's just such a nonsense. No. That's nonsense though, to say that he's gone from probable to game time decision. Like he was always a game time decision. He was always a game time decision. Probable does mean game time decision. But I'm gonna have a Concepcion team. Let's do that. Why not? Let's go. Let's go Williams and well, if I go Williams and Craver, we're gonna know on Craver beforehand. I'll just check, and then I can always. God, can Marcel Reed get 2 guys there? 25 against Utah State. I'm looking at the Utah State game mainly, and 25 against Utah State. He can get 2 guys there because that was the game he only threw for 220 yards. Has he gotten anybody there in 2 games? Well, Craver hasn't scored since week 3, so that's kind of a deal as to why he hasn't gotten there. I think Jeff Sims is going to end up being extremely owned, and I'm not going to go all in on that chalk, but I'm going to be in. I don't want to be all in, though. How about this Mississippi State game? 23 for Craver, 24 for Concepcion, and Reed against Mississippi State only had 23. So that's interesting. So they both got there, even though Reed didn't get there. Okay, so it's possible they all get there. I do agree with this Harlem Berry take, though. I do agree with the Harlem Berry take. I think Harlem Berry is a really fun way to play that. Do you take Harlem Berry? Does Harlem Berry get enough work is the question. Can he get that much work? I mean, this is a weird freaking team either way. You can go Eli Raridan here over Fields. I like Fields, though. I'm going to play Fields in this spot. Cyrus Allen already weird. Yeah, let's just play it weird. Let's play it weird. Let's get weird. I'm going to go Jacoby Williams. We'll have one team where we fade Craver. If Craver ends up being out, I'm in deep doo-doo. I'll tell you that. All right. Let's see here. Because I'm going to have to swap a ton of stuff. So we moved this team to the $5 team. So that's why we got to swap this sucker. Right? Isn't that what we moved over? Pretty certain it is. Because we were like, yep, like that. Boom, 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 boom. All right, so we're going to pop that out. Sims, Reed, Craver. All right, Sorsby team's in. Yeah, nothing fresh. I think Desmond Reed's in play. I think he's a great bring back. Fabulous bring back for your CJ Carr stacks. I think he's fabulous bring back there. All right, Reed, Sims. I got to have Marshall. I don't think I'm going to end up wanting Williams in this spot. think Faison will probably be out on. I don't mind leaving Craver in there in this one. I love Tony in that spot. I do not want to play Satania against Bama. Bama has actually really struggled with, has really been very good against wide receivers. I have interest in Bernard, still do. Kind of. If Craver's out, I'm going to rethink some things, but I'm also going to have to rethink a lot in a very quick time span. I'll have to adjust a bunch of FanDuel stuff if Craver ends up being out. Actually, I'm going to pull a actual search on Craver. I mean, UCF's about to get destroyed. Let me get Craver news going just so I can check it. I mean, I wonder if you go, so like, it's kind of funny. I wonder if I want to get on. I wonder if I end up starting to pivot to what is it? What's the other kid's name? Ashton Bethel Roman, because he's getting a ton of run and he's caught a ton of balls lately. A couple touchdowns over the last couple weeks. He's a good punt option at 3,200, especially if you get more news on him. Bussy been playing much? No, I can't trust Bussy. Bussy will play that spot. So that's the main question. Do you want to punt Bussy or Roman? That's interesting. I still like Craver, though. Maybe I'll play without Craver. Maybe I'll just play naked Marcel Reed here. Maybe I'm going to get nervy on the old Craver situation. Maybe. Do I really want to play a stacked Jeff Sims? Probably not. I think I'll play him naked. Let's see. I really do want Tony. I want Trell Harris in this one. I love those two matchups a lot. So then the question is, do I want to play cheap Notre Dame wideout? Can I play Katron Allen if I play cheap Notre Dame wideout? Yes. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Oh, yes, we can. Because come down here, you plug in Malachi Fields, get that big touchdown upside, and then you plug in Jacoby Williams. As you can see, I like Jacoby Williams. Kind of hard not to because he's filthy. All right, we're going to play that. Yeah, I like that. I'm perfectly happy with that. I'll play a naked Marcel Reed. I got no issues with that. And I like all of those wide receivers for their relative value. And I like the running backs. So definitely going to play that there. Get rid of those. All right. Let's see here. So Reed, I mean, y'all are making me really want to play Reed naked now. Playing a lot of naked Reed at this point, but he's got the rushing upside. I mean, it's there. He's got 50 to 100-yard upside on the ground. All right. I want to play a card double, Faison and Raritan. Because like y'all said, they're going to get eaten over the middle of the field, which tells me that both are viable, very viable. Let's see. I wonder if I'll end up on Tony or Barcate here. Maybe I go Concepcion. Maybe that's how we end up doing it. Maybe that's the easy way to do it. Just play Concepcion here. 62. If we do that, 73, 52. I mean, yeah, you can go right back to Allen and Williams, Allen and old boy. So that's possible. You can go Tony and cannot go Katron Allen at that point. You would go Moulton. Sue. Yeah, I think Omar Kelly's pretty cheap. I agree with that. Oh, favorite running back not named Marshall Wade, Katron Allen, probably. Probably Katron Allen after Marshall and Williams. I like Kamari Moulton. FanDuel, I love Kamari Moulton. He's ridiculously cheap. I think you're going to see 20 plus carries. The question is can that volume get him there? You know what I mean? Because I think 6,600 in this spot, you come back, you go like you can do this, and then it's like the question is do you want to do this and then go there? Do you want to go there and then get real freaky with Harlem Berry here? I mean, it's so hard to buy into this. Like, what can he do to get me there is the question. That's so hard to buy into, but the matchup is so good. Like, that feels disgusting, but also 100 yards and 2 touchdowns is on the table. I'm perfectly happy playing. It's just I don't know that I shouldn't play. No, it's good. It's good. I was thinking like I was looking for the I in that, Patrick. I was looking for the old Ronaldo sui su. That's what I was looking for there. I don't know how I feel about this Nick Singleton thing. I feel like that's just lighting you up to be just gassing you up to be upset. You know what I mean? Harlem Berry. Harlem Berry. Harlem Berry. I'll play Tradez Green. I'll play your game with that on that last one. We'll on that Jeff Sims Van Buren team. I'll play Tradez. I'm fine with that. So Faison Raritan, Tony. Tony Berry Moulton Concepcion, or very easily, like the smart play is 1000% Katron Allen, Concepcion, and Jacoby Williams. But that's the smart play because you're already 5.2K left. Is it a flex, Josh? I'm guessing it's a flex. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, if it's a flex, the toughest thing is Harlem Berry. Like, do you want to lay it all on the line for Harlem Berry? Because ultimately, starting out, it was Craver was my I'm just going to flag plant Craver. But then now everybody's got me nervy. Everybody's got me nervy on Craver. If I got word that Craver's in, now I got guys sitting here trying to bet Terry Bussey anytime touchdowns. I don't trust that. Not one bit. I really do like Craver in that spot. Choose Vereen. Maryland. Don't care about that. South Florida. I think that's just tracking Nimrod news. Yeah. All right. We'll talk about auto subs. So, like, if I'm playing a CJ Carr double, I'm already different enough. So I'd rather just go chalk with Allen and Williams in that spot. So kind of something that I've learned over on the NFL side is if you're getting, oh my God, that was the single worst kick I've ever seen on college game day. That boy just whiffed. Um, if I'm getting different enough by my stack, then I don't need to get different at these other three spots. So Williams, Allen, and Marshall, I don't need to get fancy. You don't need to be fancy playing when you got a CJ Carr freaking double stack. Nobody's playing a CJ Carr double stack. So just don't get fancy. I've got stacks. I've got good running backs. I'm happy. We're playing that. Bing, bang, boom. I got to stop getting too fancy because my fancy play self wants to play Harlem Berry over Jacoby Williams, and that seems ridiculous. Just saying. All right, let's go to the fun team. I'm excited for this one. We're going to update that entry. I cannot believe we're playing CJ Carr double stack. That seems odd and ridiculous. To my guy's point, we are going to play a Tradez Green Michael Van Buren team. Who would have thought that coming into the week? See, I'm so tempted to pay down for Xavier Robinson in one spot. He's getting so much work, and the only way they're going to be able to hang with Bama is doing that, is to play him. I do want Malachi Tony here. It's just too good of a spot for him. I cannot stack Jeff Sims. I've tried in my mind, and it just is. It will not allow me. I'm just saying. I can play Bernard if I play the. I can go 5,800, 4,400, and it would. My mind would be fine with that. I can't. I just cannot stack Jeff Sims. I can't. I have a mental brain block that says Jeff Sims and stacking is stupid. I can't. I can't do it. Won't do it. Can't do it. No, I love Tony. Tony 100 times out of 100. I like Barcate and Tony over Lemon. I was high on Lemon coming in, but the rain scared me off. So I'm too scared of it in this spot. I love Tony. I think Tony's got a massive ceiling in this spot. I mean, we're talking this 30-point ceiling here for me. I think he's got the upside to win the slate. Now, granted, yes, we've seen upside out of Lemon, but I'm worried about the rain there. The weather in SoCal is nasty. I really do like that Tony spot. Let's see. What happens if you throw Katron here? It gets ugly. 45. So I could get there because I got 41. Oh, no. Do I not do it? He's 42, isn't he? I wanted. Patrick, I've talked about FanDuel a little bit, but so I'll show you the team that we were playing around with earlier. I like Van Buren a lot. I'm on Arch, but if you know, I like Harris, Wingo with Arch. Jeremiah's great. Moulton and Marshall is a great pairing. They're like auto locks for me for the most part. I think Keywan Lacey's a great play on here. And then there's some other fun stuff in here, like Wayshawn Parker, I'm interested in. If I needed to punt running back, I went down and grabbed, where's he at? Nakari Rogers. I think there's a high upside. He scores in this spot. And then you really want to get freaky, go down to Kobe Martin at 5,700. He does have upside. And then otherwise, I have a lot of Malachi Tony and Craver. Now, Craver doesn't even have a thing on here. So, yeah. So if I'm gonna end up swapping, I might end up having to swap Craver stuff at the last minute. which I'm not excited about. Mm. I'd lean Trell Singleton over Barry Fields, but I do like both. I do like both. I don't have any Singleton. That's to y'all's point. I do not have any Singleton right now. Is this the spot to go get some Nick Singleton? Do you go Singleton here? 5K. Nope. I can go 6,600. Do not love that. I mean, I could go Faison. It's like you could go Faison Molten. You could go Barcate and Xavier Robinson or Trell Harris. You can go. So you're not paying up for anybody anymore at that point. So like you could go Bernard, but then that's Des Reed, and I don't want that. I like Tyree Walker more than Harlem Berry. I do not like Nixon for UCF. I'm not touching UCF. Both they got two quarterbacks, Ja'Cory Brown and Cam Fancher, are both out, and that defense for Texas Tech is ridiculous. So yeah, I'm fully out there. No, still nothing on Craver. We're gonna have to wait till the final minutes. All right, I'm gonna end up wrapping in the next 20. I'm gonna finish these two teams real quick, and we'll go from there. Let's see. I actually don't mind Mike Washington as bring back here. He's ran the ball pretty well, gets a ton of work. Maybe I get a Mike Washington share. Maybe we play for Arkansas LSU to get a little freaky. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. Now, oh no. I don't know if y'all see what I see, but I see a way to get Katron Allen here. And it stacks Jeff Sims, and I don't know how I feel about it. I know y'all want me to do it. I mean, there's no way you don't. There's no way you don't want me to do it. I think 5,400 is a barren wasteland because, like, playing Jacoby Williams in this team just feels disgusting. Playing 4,800 and then I've got Cyrus Allen, which I don't particularly want, feels disgusting. Walker is fully in play at 5,300. Yeah, fully in play. And if I knew Craver was 100% a go, I'd play Craver and Tyree Walker in this team. I think if Franklin goes to Virginia Tech, it's smart play on their part. I just think he has better options on the table. Y'all already know where I'm going to end up wanting to go with this, and I don't want to do it. I really don't want to do this, but why am I going to do it? Y'all know that makes too much sense, right? Jalen Moss. Do I really want to stack Jeff Sims? That just feels disgusting to stack Jeff Sims. It feels disgusting. Has Jeff Sims ever had a fantasy relevant? Hang on. I got to see if Jeff Sims even has a fantasy relevant wide receiver in the past 5 years in a game. He played that Cincinnati game last year. That was terrible. Oh, God. He's thrown for 100. I don't think he's thrown for 200 yards in a game in 3 years. Let's see. 177 against Iowa State a week ago. All right. Last year was 155 against Cincinnati. High the year before was 114 against Minnesota. High the year before that. Oh, he has a 300-yard game against UCF. There we go. Let's see what his wide receivers did there. He has a 227-yard game against Duke. We're talking, I mean, I'm going back to 2022 here, people, just to find a more than 200-yard passing game. Oh, he has a 300-yard game against Pitt. 297, 300. He had a 3-game stretch where he averaged over 300 yards a game passing. Heck yeah, Jeff Sims. His name is Jeff. All right. This is when he played for Georgia Tech. That's how far I have to go back. 3 for 89 and 1 was his leading wide receiver. And then Duke, he had a 100-yard receiver, Nate McCollum. Nate McCollum, legend. Legend in his own mind. Oh, I know that's why we're playing. And Daryl, the problem is I'm sitting here debating stacking this moron. I can't believe I'm debating stacking Jeff Sims with a wide receiver. It's also why I refuse to play Shimon Mateer. But I mean, at what point do I feel good? Like if he goes 3 for 52 and a tud, I feel great. I just don't even know if he can get 3 for 52. Like, can Jeff Sims throw a passing touchdown to the one guy that I want? Now, the nice part is these guys aren't leaving the field. So the Moss factor is there because Moss isn't leaving the field. It's just Moss on the field. I actually do really think I'm going to have one Mike Washington. I think Mike Washington makes a ton of sense there. But I could come off of that, and then I could go like a Raritan or Malachi Fields. Like, they're very easy to get to. You come off of that, you go to Tyree Walker. You get your 20 carries. You hope for 100 yards. You hope for multiple touchdowns. You know, I don't think that's fine. All right, let's see. A&M, Vandy had 200 yards rushing. I got to look at this. Like, what is the rushing performances against LSU? Because LSU's defense has been pretty decent. What are the LSU running performances for A&M, Vandy, and Ole Miss? There we go. That'll be the 3 that I need to look at. So, A&M, Ruben Owens had 8 carries, 44 yards. Jabarion Morrow, 3 for 26, 4 for 23. All over 5 yards a carry, though. It was mainly Marcel Reed. Pavia killed him. Let's see. Cedric Alexander did not play particularly well at 13 for 42 and a touch. Mykylin Young did run well, though. What did Keywan Lacey do? Because it's probably your most apt comparison. He averaged 3.8 a carry, though. That's what I'm saying, man. It's tough to say I want to pay $6K for Mike Washington in this spot. I think I can get away with that. I think I can pay $5K here. I guess we see that, but then I'm in that 4,100, which annoys me because I really do want to play Trell Harris right there. Xavier Thomas, Will Pauling. Will Pauling's interesting. Cam Ross has some little bit of interest. Lottie Brooks, I think, is going to be good, but he's a better FanDuel play for his price. Raritan, fine. I could play. Let's see. Then I got to come off of Katron Allen because I would have to play Nick Singleton in that spot. Or you'd have to play. Oh, you know what? I know. Why am I thinking this making this so difficult on myself? What you do is you play Katron Allen. You play the 2 big backs. Now you make it easier. You play Trell Harris here. And you play Jordan Faison. All right. Yeah. That way you get that pass receiving volume. So you get Trey Harris. So you get your 5-6 catches against a good matchup for the pass defense. Good matchup. Faison's got a good matchup similar to Raritan, right? So if we're saying Raritan has a great matchup over the middle of the field, we would say Faison has a great matchup over the middle of the field. So I do think it's extremely viable from that sense to jump Faison in there. I do like Faison a good bit, as you can see, because I'm kind of popping him in those spots. Now I wish I had an extra 100 more. I'd play Jacoby Williams. I'd be more happy with that, but that's here nor there in this spot. Keep checking on Mario Craver. Blake Horvath expected to play. He's dressed. So Mario Craver is dressed out and heading to warm up. So that's a plus. So that's good. All right, DFS. Quay Ashley's out against Eastern Mish. All right, I'm good with that. I feel good there. I like Faison. I like Harris. I like Tony. I like Green. Allen, Marshall. I like all of those guys. So we're gonna go there. Update entry. Well, if they do that, I think CJ Carr has a very good game. I will say. If they do that, I think CJ Carr has a very good game. All right. I don't know that I'm going to have Faison in this lineup because I think I have a little bit more Faison than I wanted originally. So I might go Fields Raritan here. Or just go Fields. Or just go Raritan. No, I don't think Concepcion's a lock. I like Concepcion, but I don't think he's a lock. I'm kind of, man, y'all are gotten me excited about this Eli Raritan play, but I think I'm going to end up sticking to my guns on Malachi Fields in this spot. Yeah, I'm going to play Fields with Carr here on this. I still don't have a Nick Singleton team. I don't know how to feel about that. Let's see here. I think I'm going to play a Tyree Walker team. I think. I don't know. Tempted by a Ruben Owens team as well. I think I'll probably end up on Tony here. Because I don't know how I don't want to play Tony. He's an insanely good play. Harris makes a ton of sense in this spot. What do I get if I get Trell Harris? So I get 7,300, 6,200. I don't particularly like, well, that would get me Concepcion. So I could technically go Harris, Concepcion, and Katron Allen. That's pretty juicy. That's pretty juicy. So this is where I am tempted to go right now in this. So that's where I'm tempted to go. So number one wide receiver is going to be Malachi Tony for me. Slot wide receivers have killed NC State. I think 100 yards and at least one touchdown is well within play here. Number one quarterback. That would be tough. I want to tell you Jeff Sims. My brain does. Or my heart just says I can't tell you Jeff Sims. But statistically speaking, if I said I'm just setting aside all the history that I have with Jeff Sims and the pain and suffering that he has caused me. Oh, Mario Craver's fully dressed out. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about that. All right, I have enough Craver exposure that I'm okay if I end up fading Craver in some of these spots. I know Ian. Ian says exactly what I'm thinking. Friends don't let friends play Jeff Sims. So Van Buren vaulted for me. I will tell you. But also, Van Buren just hadn't hurt me yet. So what I would say is if I was I want to tell you that Michael Van Buren's my top play. I also want to tell you that Jeff Sims is my top play. I feel very disgusting saying such a thing. I love CJ Carr this week. I just have this gut feeling that CJ Carr is. Hang on, is that ankle taped? No, both his ankles are taped, but they're not overly taped. There's no difference in either one. I'm comfortable with Craver at this point, so I'm not changing anything there. I'm gonna stick to my guns on that. So the question is, do I want to save 1100 here? Go to Craver. Oh, oh boys. Okay, because I can go Craver here. Then I get 3 of my favorite wideouts, and then I get Tyree Walker here. And I really did like how Tyree Walker looked, even against Cincinnati, especially in the early part of that game. He looked really good. Which this Baylor line is why I like the Utah backs so much. So on FanDuel, play Utah team players. Like I think it's a great place to play. I'm in on Jeff Sims. My second favorite wide receiver is Mario Craver. And I don't think I'm going to let myself get talked out of it because he's warming up. I don't think I'm going to let myself get talked out of it. Because I've done this way too many times where I talk myself out of my top play because he's banged up or questionable or it's going to be windy or rainy or whatever. And then I end up going away from it. And I end up beating myself up over it. So I like Katron Allen a lot. I think the volume goes to Allen. I think the crowd goes to Singleton. I like Tyree Walker in this spot. I think he gets 20 touches now that Evan Pryor's not in the way. He's got receiving. He can have a little bit of receiving upside. I think we do get a 20-point game out of Tyree Walker here. It's very possible in this spot. So I'm leaning into my priors. I'm not going to get off of myself on that spot. And now I'm going to have to end up double checking everything because I can't help myself now that I have made some decisions to get off of Mario Craver to an extent. Granted, we're still playing Craver on the teams that we've built. I have a ton of Craver. So if you're playing 20 max, like go right ahead. You can play Fafita. You can play anything. Play any of this stuff. You can play Taylor Green if you wanted to. I actually, in my 20 max, I don't have any Van Buren, which is why I'm kind of trying to get more exposure on the top end stuff because I built those teams beforehand and I don't know that I want to switch off of Fafita. If I would switch the Fafita teams to Van Buren. Maybe. Because I did like Fafita, but then now I'm a little worried about the weather. There with 15 sustained. He's not particularly great play. Yeah, I'm probably going to switch those to MVB. That should be an easy swap too. You can switch from Fafita Hudson to Van Buren Trades, and it's very easy to switch that stuff over. So I'll be able to do that very quickly. And so yeah, let me double check injury news and notes, and then I'm going to keep an eye on Mario Craver news. I would suggest y'all do so as well. Let's celebrate. Hopefully the last time that we have to worry about Jeff Sims, although they play Arizona coming up and Arizona struggles with running quarterbacks. So we're probably going to be in on Jeff Sims again. I do really like Marcel Reed today. Just have a feeling. Just had a feeling. And I've been fading Marcel Reed. Granted, that sounds exactly like Julian saying from last week. I don't think Marcel Reed's a particularly great player. But if you look at the top of the board on this thing, I don't mind Nick Harbor. Like, you got I don't mind him. he's just he scored in 3 straight. If you think he scores, he's a fine play. If he doesn't score, you're in trouble because you take 6 away. Now you're looking at 9, 6, and 6. He's got to hit the deep play, and I don't know that it's there. But if I was, here's the thing: if I was playing, oh great, the Sims are loving my doubles. Sons of guns, JB. Here's my problem: I end up being the Sims. I don't even look at the Sims. I don't have any of that stuff. I love Dampier and Chambliss. I love Dampier and Chambliss. If Dampier is going to be the lowest owned, Ian, go over. Oh, go over by far and away on FanDuel. Go over on Devin Dampier. I'm telling you, that is the move because he is a fabulous play at 11-8. His rushing upside is through the roof, and Baylor's defense is by far and away the worst he's going to have faced in the last I don't know how long, probably all season. So Chambliss and Dampier are great plays. I don't love Reed there. I'm okay with him, but I definitely prefer Dampier and Chambliss for my money. And then otherwise, I don't mind Carr, Beck. They're fine. I was really going to like Heischel. Yeah, Baylor actually can score in that sense. I like Arch a good bit, and I love Van Buren. So to give you an idea, what I did is I made all of those on FanDuel. I basically I wanted Manning, Chambliss, Sayin, Reed, Beck, Dampier, and I don't love Nick Marsh today. Yeah, Myron, I don't hate that. I don't disagree. I think that's fair. I don't know. I thought West Virginia didn't look very good last week, just from watching that game. Because I was so invested in West Virginia, I watched most of it. Marcel Reed out there throwing and warming up. Lenoris Sellers still can't run for any yards. Don't know why. That's very odd. Let me see if I can find the data from the Jeff Sims thing. So West Virginia is allowing over 24 fantasy points per game to quarterbacks. They're 14th in the conference in scoring allowed. So I know you're going to ask Night Slate, Darren. I know. I'm not playing it. I've looked, but I haven't looked. You know what I mean, Darren? I love Manning. I like Manning a lot in that spot. Myron, you got to limit. It's Jeff Sims. You got to limit it. You know what I mean? I didn't go all in on Jeff Sims. There's a reason. All right. Night Slate for Darren with the quickness. I give him. By the way, R. Mason Thomas being out for Oklahoma against Alabama is a big, big deal. Oh, Mike Elko getting a raise. Congratulations. So, Night Slate. I like Kewan Lacey. I love Ahmad Hardy. Ahmad Hardy needs to be in. Jonah Coleman is listed as probable, but not going to start likely. I'm out on Jonah Coleman, certainly. I like Wayshawn Parker at 6K for sure. I love the game environment for Utah State, UNLV. It's just going to be tricky. So I need to read up on the wide receivers there so I can make some decisions. I don't mind Nakari Rogers. He's more of a FanDuel play for me. I do love Adam Muhammad. So I'm going to lean to Adam Muhammad getting more touches at 4,500. He's a core spend for me. I like Jeremiah Smith. He's fine at 8,700. Denzel Boston being out opens up a ton of value from that team. Deuce Robinson, great play at 6K. I do think that is a core option. Ryan Davis is a good play. Jaden Bradley, maybe. I mean, UNLV, those wide receivers are tough to figure out. Zach Branch, great play at 5,200 as well. If I'm picking quarterbacks right out the gate, I think it's very difficult to figure out all this stuff. Desmond Roebuck at 4,200 should be the wide receiver one in this offense with Denzel Boston out. Let's see what they have to say about Boston. Nope, they don't have anything about Roebuck, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be Roebuck with the, what is it, Ashton Bethel Hines? Is that the other kid? Pretty certain that's Bethel or Vines Bright. That's it. Raiden Vines Bright is going to be on the field a little bit more. Jacoby Williams over Walker, but if it's single entry, if it's mass multi-entry of 150 max, I'd go Tyree Walker. And I just think Williams is safer. Walker is going to be way lower owned. Williams is probably going to be extremely owned. Walker under owned for the role by comparison. So I do have exposure to both. I have more exposure to Williams, less exposure to Walker, but I don't hate going either direction there for sure. Chambliss, great play. I'm going to avoid saying because of the blowout. I like Chambliss. I like Dampier a lot. For the price, I probably prefer Dampier to Chambliss personally, but I think both are well in play. Arch, too expensive for me in this spot particular, but we're talking, this is single entry. Calandria is far too cheap. So Calandria is my favorite quarterback, and I like pairing him with Dampier, but I think it's very viable to pair him with Bryson Barnes as well. Go full game stack of that Utah State UNLV game because the quarterbacks are going to touch the ball every time, and it's extremely difficult to figure out who the heck else is going to score on those teams because they spread the ball at wide receiver all over the place. So extremely difficult to pair those guys up. You don't need a pair Dampier, but if you were, Ryan Davis, perfectly fine option at 5,600. I don't hate the idea of going very catch heavy in this sense. Like these guys are going to get so many targets and it leaves you at 5,100. This is kind of the original build that I had, and I was trying to figure out where I would go after that. I have no idea. I really don't have any idea where I would go at this point from this build. I haven't been able to figure it out yet. I think Brock Boyd, maybe, or Brady Boyd. It's Brock something else. Anyway, he's the tight end, Brock something. But Brady Boyd is fine. He had the big game last week. I do think people are going to go there. I don't know that I would want to, but I think it's a fine option. There's just so many weird things in this slate, on this late slate. I'm going to end up stacking some weird stuff in there, but it's going to be in 20 max and not single entry. I've been trying to figure single entry out because these guys have such a high floor from a catch volume standpoint, these three, that they are equal to like a Jeremiah Smith in that spot. Pagan's fine. He's not priced prohibitively for his role. I think 7 catches is well within the realm of possibility. Sneaky running back play would be, where's Javin Jacobs? Right here, 4,300. So Javin Jacobs catches a ton of balls in this offense. So his floor is extremely high, gets a little bit of run game work. That most of the run game work does go through Miles Davis. Is that Miles? Yeah, Miles Davis. That's what I thought. But I prefer him, and I'd rather pay for Wayshawn Parker in that same spot. So if I didn't play Dampier and I wanted to play the game stack, then yes, I'm going to play that. What is he? 800 less. That would leave me at 5,900, which is kind of crappy because then I'm 100 off of Wayshawn Parker, which annoys me to no end. In which case, I probably would end up switching off of Muhammad down to a 4,300 Javin Jacobs, and then that would get me into my game stack there. Also would want to get off of Ryan Davis more than likely, so I guess it would be fairly easy. Oh, yep. Hey, here's your game stack. Got it. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, we're going super flex. Look, here's your game stack. So this is going to end up being a 20 max entry for me. No doubt about it. Javin Jacobs with Barnes because he's going to catch balls from him. It's a little weird stacking the running back. I know. But it's a way to do it. Jaden Bradley, ding, and Wayshawn Parker, who I think can go for 100 yards and multiple touchdowns. Now, you could also go Braden Pagan in that spot, and then you get a Pagan Jacobs. Like, you get a full stack out of that. 5,300. I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you start looking at this game from a wide receiver perspective, specifically the UNLV side, the Utah State side's fairly easy to figure out to an extent. But like when you put in this, like Jaden Bradley started the year extremely hot and has gotten extremely cold of late. Don't know what to expect there. Day Reynolds had 0 catches last week, burnt the crap out of me late. He had been playing fairly well before that. O'Meary, he gets on the field a little bit, but he's kind of like Kobe Prentice. I mean, Gums, he'll come out of nowhere and catch a touchdown. I mean, it's just one after another, like of guys that play but don't. I mean, Lions, he gets on the field. So I'm gonna have to look into that stuff, and that's where I'm gonna figure it out. But yeah, it's tricky. Late slate's a little tricky, but I think Hardy is a very similar play to um, Marshall in the main slate, where I'm not going to have a lineup without Ahmad Hardy, given the quarterback situation. So let's do one more Mario Craver check, just to make sure that I do not miss anything. Okay. All right. Carter Smith's going to start for Wisconsin. Doesn't matter. Chandler Morris will play against Duke. I don't know that it's going to matter. And Mike Elko, got that already. Any new Craver news? Craver. All right. Yep. I got video of Craver. He looks good. Yeah, I mean, he's out there catching routes and making cuts and juke moves and stuff, warming up. So I feel pretty good about Craver. No worries from me there. So best of luck to everybody today. Hope somebody at least finds the nuts, lands on something good. Hopefully I do. And then hopefully one of you guys does too. Hopefully we split something. That would be optimal. So good luck, everybody. Hopefully Jordan Marshall stays healthy and has a very good day. That is the most important thing. If Jeff Sims fails, then we expected it. I go into this expecting Jeff Sims to be benched and have about 10 points. So that's my expectation. It's usual for my name is Jeff.